Hello and welcome to Business Lunch. I'm Nisha Podar and with me as always is my co-anchor Pavitra Parekh. So Pavitra, markets now trending lower. In fact, if you really take a look at Nifty 50 at the moment on the flat line and very quickly it's losing all the momentum at the moment. 18,130 odd points at the moment. Remember, the high point of the day for Nifty 50 was 18,200 levels, so substantially lower and at the moment on the flat line. You know, Bank Nifty is really not supportive, even though it's a Goldilocks scenario for the banking sector in this particular quarter, everything working in its favor, but it's been beaten down. Axis Bank is a drag, Kotak Mahindra Bank, SBI, all of them are a drag, but in financials, HDFC Twins, the heavyweights, are the ones which have been very supportive in today's trade. After the results, Reliance Industries, second day on the trot, is also on the weaker side, but the day really goes to the auto space because Tata Motors ahead of its numbers is on a high, and Maruti, with just results coming out, is at the high point of the day and gaining quite a bit, almost 2.5% at the moment. One word on the cement sector. After Ultratech's results yesterday, the realizations has put a really important concern going forward for the cement sector in terms of realizations because of the competition coming in. Keep an eye out on that sector because today also it's beaten down except for the new entrant Adani stocks, Ambuja as well as ACC, which are the only ones in the green, Pavitra.
Oh, absolutely. So you've mentioned some of the, stocks which are not doing so well in, this shaky setup, and it has been choppy for a better part of the morning. What's holding up even in this situation is the IT pack, So take a look at some of the larger names. Those are still doing very well, whether it's in HCL Tech, TCS. These are the larger names. Now take a look at the name, at the kind of gains that you're seeing in the mid-cap IT names. So you have Zensar, Newgen, Root Mobile. These are the kinds of gains that you've seen. 4 to 7% higher there. Nisha has mentioned banking packs, so I'm going to skip that. On the downside, you have a lot of the pharma biggies which have made their way there. So Sun Pharma, DRL are a few of them. And the real estate pack also under pretty severe pressure today. It's actually the top sectoral loser. So you have something like a DLF trading with, cuts of 1.2%. Sobha seeing cuts. It's the entire pack. I just have a few of them up on your screen right now. But that's what's going on with the market. Let's talk about the individual names now. Axis Bank, like we told you, is the top index loser today. It's down around 2.5%. After reporting its third quarter numbers. Abhishek is here to fill us in with the details. Abhishek, like you've been pointing out, on the P&L it was a beat, but there are, some problems in the results.
Well, Axis Bank did report Q3 FY23 results. P&L was strong. However, there are some flaws in their results. So the net interest margin is at 30-quarter high of 4.26%. NII growth quarter-on-quarter is best in 27 quarters and YOY is the best in 26 quarters. So a record high in terms of NII growth. They have had the best return ratios, both the ROA and ROE in last 7.5 years. Asset quality, gross NPA ratio and net NPA ratio are one of the best in 7 years or even more. The CASA ratio, however, on the flip side has come in at 44.5%, one of the lowest that you are seeing in last 5 quarters. Operating profit growth on a YOY basis is the best in 26 quarter, led by the fact that cost to income ratio is on the lower side at 9-quarter low. So restructured book as well as the watch list, they have reduced, which means the stress on the balance sheet is reducing. However, on the flip side, the deposit growth is at multi-quarter low of just 9.9% YOY, which is one of the weakest that you are seeing in 7 quarters. The slippages are on the higher side despite the fact that they have had one-off, and these one-offs actually have been continuing over the last few quarters. The corporate loan growth has actually driven the overall growth as well as the yield over here, and fee income growth has also come in largely from the corporate side. Entire banking sector actually is focused on the retail segment, which in Q3 FY23 for large banks has grown at 4.5% growth quarter-on-quarter or even more. But for Axis Bank, that growth is at less than 1.5% quarter-on-quarter. So that's another negative over there. P&L, both in terms of NII and PAT, it's a beat on our poll. Back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Abhishek, for giving an exhaustive analysis on Axis Bank. But another deal brewing, which is related to Axis Bank. Remember, Axis Bank holds stake in Max Life and Max Finance stock. That is buzzing in trade today. And in fact, if you really take a look at the last few months of trajectory, that stock has been re-rated after we broke the story that Max Finance promoter shareholding is up for sale. And there are many buyers in that. And this is linked to Axis because remember, remember, Axis has stake in Max Life. So keep an eye out on this particular transaction and that particular stock as well when we talk about Axis. With that, we'll slip into a short breather on Business Lunch. On the other side, we get you the much-awaited top list of 20 stocks to watch this year, compiled by the CNBC-TV18 team. Stay tuned for the big reveal.
Hey guys, welcome back. You're still tuned into Business Lunch on CNBC TV18, and let's get you a special now. Like we've been telling you, CNBC TV18 has compiled a list of the top 20 stocks that you should watch for this year. This is a carefully curated list of companies that warrants a closer look in 2023. So Prashant is standing by at the big wall to bring us that entire list. Prashant.
Well, today we bring to you CNBC TV18's top 20 stocks to watch in 2023. This is a list of companies which our research team has on their radar, and you should too. Each of our research analysts will present the ideas over the next few days. What am I here to do then? Well, I'm here to give you a sneak peek into the list. Well, first up, let me say that this is not a recommendation list. This is a list of companies which have meaningful triggers lined up this year. Positive or negative, but meaningful catalysts. Over the next few days, we will put out these names in detail and explain what could change and what the impact could be. Well, let's get started then. Sonia has Maruti on her watch list. Maruti, remember, has lost market share due to elevated competitive intensity, lack of new models in the UV category, and production constraints. With a slew of product launches this year, will all of this reverse? Ekta is watching Apollo Hospitals. Will the delayed Apollo HealthCo's fundraise finally fructify? It's been long awaited. A fundraise in Apollo HealthCo is important to ease out cash drain on the core business. From the oil and gas space, Sonal has her eye on two names. First is Reliance Industries, which will see the ramp up of its FMCG business, the launch of air fiber for wireless broadband, and new affordable 5G smartphones to monetize its pan-India standalone 5G network this year. The second one Sonal is watching is ONGC, where the bet is that higher oil prices bring greater confidence in the predictability of ONGC's earnings and perhaps supports a re-rating. From the tech and telecom space, Rima is watching Bharti and LTI Mindtree. Now, Vodafone Idea is the catalyst for telecom. It needs a capital infusion or it needs a massive tariff hike very quickly to keep its head above water. Either way, it's likely to be closely watched by the leader, that is Bharti, and that is what Rima is watching. On the IT services end, Rima has her eye on LTI Mindtree. From the media space, consolidation seems to be the name of the game. Vahishta is keeping her eye on PVR. Upside synergies are possible as the PVR-Inox merger plays out this year. And with Sony in the driver's seat, the question is, will Z Entertainment see synergy benefits, improved governance, and sharper content creation across platforms? Will the cement space see consolidation this year? Nigel believes it could. He has two names on his radar, Orient Cement and Sagar Cement, two names he will watch out for. In the FMCG space, Mangalam is watching Colgate and whether the CEO, Prabha Narasimhan, who has been at the helm of Colgate for 6 months now, will she be able to arrest Colgate's steady market share loss and drive its diversification agenda? He also has an eye on Container Corporation, which is a privatization candidate. Now, insurance has had a tough few last years. My colleague Surbhi will keep an eye on HDFC Life from the space as new regulation by IRDAI has an impact on market structure in 2023. Will HDFC Life emerge as a winner? From the infrastructure space, will NTPC emerge as a key play on India's entry into the global green hydrogen market following the government's launch of the National Hydrogen Mission? And will L&T be able to turn around loss-making businesses and benefit from the government's continued thrust on infrastructure build? Vivek has both NTPC and L&T on his radar. In the banking and financial services space, Abhishek has 5 names on his radar. Bajaj Finance had a rare down year in 2022. Will it get back to its winning ways? With the government looking to sell a near 61% stake in IDBI Bank, this is the second stock that he has on his radar. Next two are merger situations. First is the banking behemoth HDFC Bank, which is set to see the home loan giant HDFC merging into it. Then there is the merger of IDFC First Bank and its ultimate holding company, IDFC Limited. And the last one Abhishek has on his radar is Paytm. Will Paytm keep the promise of turning profitable in FY24, and will markets come to accept it and show it some love? Well, as I said, these are the 20 stocks which Team CNBC TV18 will watch out for in 2023. Our team will present each of these ideas in detail over the next few weeks. I want to reiterate once again that this is not a recommendation list, but merely a list of companies which potentially have triggers and catalysts lined up this year.
All right, Prashant, quite a big list and a lot of food for thought and good ideas for our viewers to take note of. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Business Lunch. But remember, what we do right now is also the time for CNBC TV18's budget quiz. And remember, there are prizes to be won every single day ahead of the budget. Now, we gave you the question at 9:14 today, but in case you missed it, here's today's question. What was the projected nominal GDP growth for FY23 in the last budget? And your options are 10.9%, 11.1%, 11.9%, or 12.1%. Now send us your answers on Twitter, post your answer as a comment on the question tweet on CNBC TV18 News, or use the hashtag also budget with CNBC TV18. Now hurry and send us your answers. Remember, we will be announcing the winners at 3 p.m. today, so stay tuned to CNBC TV18. With that, it's a wrap.